Welcome to the TROSAC 2024 Young Advocates Unite. This is a place where passionate young minds come together to tackle the pressing issue of substance abuse. Join the conversation on X, Facebook, and our podcast channel.
So,
and let me add up to this. As Chrissy said, in Ghana, environment also counts. And so if, for instance, Prince said, in school he saw people were doing well, and he never knew they were on that.
Yeah.
So, individual basis, he wasn't lucky.
Yeah.
He picked it, and then graduating upwards, he diverted, as I mentioned.
Yeah. Yeah.
When we go out for our education programs, I mean, you meet elderly men and women, and say, maybe it's not we the swing, you know. I'm now, say, 60 plus, and I'm still taking it.
Oh, okay.
So now the individual, I don't know.
Is it medical, Dr. Papa? Is it medical?
So I think it has to do with tolerance.
So it's tolerance?
Yes.
So is it like some sort of the body, that anatomy of somebody is quite different, so much so that another person, come again?
What?
The genetic makeup of someone
Yes. It's a factor.
permits the person to be on weed.
A real factor.
So do people screen that, or they find it that, oh, me, my body in India? Because I have been to parties, and there are friends of mine that at parties, they can keep going. Like, they would take
Going.
And maybe me, something small, and I'm already dazed.
Yeah.
I'm like, Charlie boy, I need to go home. That this thing I put, if you reel me in, I won't end up here, the same way. So I've always wondered, and I'm glad we're bringing up the issue of tolerance and the genetic makeup of people. This is why, for all of us who are gathered here, you should bear in mind that whatever you're taking, you have no idea the makeup of the next person on your left or right.
Yeah.
Someone can take it and take it and take it and take it. Like a joke that a friend of mine passed, that a friend of his took alcohol for the first time, and now onum kokra no abo. Because the body is so. We'll take a pause at this point in time. We want to take some questions because we have settled on the mental health area. Can I get an extra mic in case, someone has a question to ask us? We have a hand app. So if someone can help coordinate the question part, let's take some quick questions. Yeah, there's a man here who has a question. Yes, sir, please.
Please, good evening, everybody.
Evening.
Sometimes it used to take off blood of group. If your blood group.
Blood group?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the blood group.
Okay.
It depends.
Okay.
You can work with someone. You are saying if like you take someone.
Yeah, I'm O positive. I'm O positive.
Okay,
so,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm also O positive. Say Nipano blood group no, different from you are. Obetimi anu monsa. Obetimi anu be 3 bottles from moye.
Okay.
But onum back and onum half. Obebu. Now only sa nipa na say nipa be 3 nama. How do you think? That I'm not nipa no ko ebi anu wonen nenamu. What I say? In sometimes blood group unama say o show husu and I'm not making sense.
That's it. Of course.
Blood group sometimes me to run maybe 2 bottles. Maybe I want half bottles or babu. Maybe I'm so many and I'm after I come on problem.
That's it. Okay.
I don't need taxes. I made them sabbat to a buckle. Make sure I coffee. That's it. It is that it. Sometimes and check visa and too much of alcohol in it.
Too much, and I say kakrevi abe febian.
Ufa bibi kakra. Sometimes doctors get to bibi kakra ba.
Okay, doctor, why? You have doctor and train kakra.
Umpe. Say we are ufa kakra. Oh, no didi no wa bibi ada. And I make say blood group.
Na adena on pese obefa blood tonic na obefa in San. Blood tonic na nye juma. Ferroglobin wo ho. Dine well wo ho. You know. What's it then? Yes. A blood tonic wo ho na. It's party na say didi.
Party blood tonic kill you.
I like that. Party I say it's blood tonic. Okay. Okay, what I said. All right. Thank you so much. So there is Agnes here.
Mr. Smart.
Yes. So Doc would respond quickly to what Daddy Pacha Frau saying. Nana. Pacha say. Edward. Okay. Edward. So Doc.
So the blood aspect.
Yes.
It's a bit of a misconception.
Mm-hmm.
What happens is the liver. It has to do with the liver. We have people who are called fast acetylators.
Fast what?
Acetylators. It means that the liver is responsible for...
Don't be scaring us.
The liver is responsible for breaking down alcohol and other things. Some people, once the alcohol gets there, it will dissolve it very fast. So they can take more. But some people, when they take in the alcohol, it stays there for some time before it breaks down. So that's why someone can actually take a lot of bottles, because it's always breaking down. And it's like the effect you are supposed to get, it comes and it wins off. So it's like you have to take more before you can achieve that level. But if your metabolism is slow, it means that when you take one, it will take long. So just taking one, you are just high, like you are so high, and then you don't need to take another. But if you are someone who readily dissolves, or your liver is actively working to break down this alcohol, you tend to take more. So it has to do with the liver and the enzymes.
So Edwin, Pacho, all right. You're about on champion, but Agnes.
Okay, so my question has to do with the trust we spoke about.
Yes.
Like going to someone or speaking to someone you trust. We've already gotten some things to look out for where we are seeking help.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes when you are going to the people you trust, based on the experiences of such people, there are people you definitely trust.
Yeah.
But based on their experiences, the advice probably they would give you, maybe I'm not looking at the substance use, but let's say someone who has anxiety issues, someone dealing with depression, the advice they might give you might be something that might grow bitterness or pain that can lead to depression, or it can stress you out a lot. So when you are also seeking out for help from the people you think you trust very much, do you have measures or you have certain things you should look at to be able to know that, okay, what I am getting from this person is not in the other way going to affect me? Because I think I've experienced that before. It's not in that way going to affect me. Thank you.
So on that aspect, what I would say is I think our next moderator is in. So Coke has joined us. It's not the Coke that Juliana spoke about. So I think after the Q&A session, we would swap, and Coke, you come and, take over the second part of the conversation. The issue that you just discussed, I think it is something that I'm trying very hard not to make this controversial statement, that normally when people go through things, they advise others based on their experience. Yeah. And it may not necessarily be wisdom. So people call experience wisdom. And so they say, oh, we were famous that. The experience they have had, they are now using it as a platform to advise others. And does not necessarily mean what you're saying is right. So I've always been so keen, especially when it comes to substance use and mental health, I would prefer you speak to a professional. And I really prefer you speak to a professional. If it's a trusted person, it should be like a mentor that you are well aware this person, there is some level of gap between you. You know that it's someone you look high up, not somebody you're looking this way. Because sometimes the person that you're looking at this way is on the same pedestal with you and has almost a limited life experience as you. So they say better people advise people to recruit them. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. So when you find people who are bitter about a particular experience, they've had a level of depression themselves. So when you're sharing it, they begin to share theirs the more.
Yeah.
So you leave their presence with more depressed states as compared to before. Then now you're like, oh, yeah, you will move. That kind of feeling is something. So I would always advise people, speak to a professional. I'm very keen on that. Or you speak to, I get the opportunity because I work with the youth a lot. I'm part of a lot of youth advocacy programs. I speak to the youth a lot. And when I get to a point where, I give you a scenario, we were at Came Out Dance Senior High School. We were filling out forms on sexual abuse. Then this lady who was in the class, while filling the form, after the question was explained to her, she started breaking down. In our policy guideline, as youth advocates, a male mentor doesn't touch a female. Okay? Someone will think, I am offering her a head or I'm offering her a hug. In that moment, you have taken a decision that registers in her brain. She is thinking that she can trust you. And that trust at that age, it can
mature to
something else. I didn't know that I had to receive education on that. So the moment I saw the lady breaking down, what did I do? I called the next female mentor to come in to offer hugs to her because it's a ladies' game. I cannot be there. Because the moment you leave there, she connected with you. And so when you leave there, she takes your number. She will say, oh, I want to ask you things about career choices. She starts calling you and there is nothing about career choice in her conversation. So who to speak to, it's a very critical thing. You know, I would always advise, speak to a professional, speak to a mentor that you trust, somebody that you look high up, not somebody like you looking like this too. That would be my perspective on it. I don't know if any of the speakers have something to add. So
just to weigh in on that, even myself, I remember there was a time in school where I was really going through it, and I have a friend who was reading psychology. I had to go to her. We had a session. Like, she actually had an office. I went to see her. She was typing all my sentiments, and she actually screened me and then gave me the appropriate care. But I am in the health profession, but I still sought help from her. So you have to really seek a professional. And then the definition of mental health has to do with emotions, psychological and social. So it's not just like someone who is mad and then is on the street. No. But the emotional, the most important part is the emotional. All these things happening to funny faces is emotions. I saw his interview in 2012. He was speaking freely. He's someone who had ambitions. He even said he wants to do a lot of things out of Ghana and everything.
The children's
it took emotions, it took a relationship, it took all these things. So it's not the psychiatry or the psychological things. Even the fact that you don't have money to buy food, that's a societal problem that you even need to seek help. So it's not just like the people we see on streets, and you have to really seek help. And then in our system in Ghana is lacking. We don't have enough psychologists or psychiatrists. And then, as I said, there's this stigma. So before, let's say you come to my consulting room and I say that, oh, this one you have to go to Plantain. You'll be like, am I trying to say you're getting mad or something? There's all the misconception and everything. Because people come to me, couples come to me, even they have, let's say, sexual needs.
Yeah.
Sometimes it just has to do with the mind.
Yeah.
It's not medical. It's because you don't know how the whole process is. So you need someone to train you on how the process is. And I say, let's say, go and see the psychiatric or psychologist, and you're like, oh, why? So mental health is something big. It has not to do with the smaller group. Yeah. So we should seek the appropriate help. Yeah.
This is exactly Coke will be taking over to do the latest trends of the substance use. She would also zoom in the conversation on the new ways and innovative ways that we can help resolve the problem. I think that one of the things that none of you, I don't know if Chrissy, you touched on it, or Patrice, we'll get a better understanding from Prince. Is it that people are deterred from seeing psychologists because of cost?
No, because NHIS is there. and they help. It's just that
NHIS covers that?
Yes.
Okay,
and they
so-
even support with some of the cost of the medication to an extent. But it still comes with the misconception and the stigma that, hey, I'm crazy. Something is wrong with me. I have to go see this person. What will they say about me? What will my family say? What will my friends say?
Okay.
And you're sitting there and you're analyzing all these things, and before you know it, you're at the bridge of committing suicide or at the bridge of doing something that you don't want to do because out of fear of first just taking the first step, you'll be in denial, talk yourself out of it, denial.
So it's actually a deception or misinformation because
Yes.
I was told that to see a clinical psychologist, it costs 350 cedis an hour. So some people,
Those
Doc,
are professions.
I want Prince to come in because he has been through the
Yeah,
process.
so what you are saying, like, you really have a point because when I was still battling with addiction with my mom, at a point in time, I decided to seek help medically, you said. So most addicts, especially most addicts in the Ghanaian street, don't have an NHIS when you go to most of the ghettos because you may not even have the time to do it. Okay, those are like characteristics of addicts in the Ghanaian street. The Ghana card, the NHIS, all these basic documents citizens are supposed to have. You don't have them. Okay, so we have to go to see a psychiatrist, and my man has to finance it. Okay, yes, and so in a way, this thing deters the people in addiction, particularly drugs. Okay. And also, most of them are not aware that they can even seek help medically. Okay. Most of them.
Yeah, just not aware.
They are just
that
not
they
aware.
do not know that the national health covers such services.
Good.
Yeah.
You would agree with me that the mass of the people living with drug or substance addiction are, can say 70% illiterate. Illiterate in quotes.
Mm-hmm.
As in, they don't have access to a fair knowledge on recovery approaches.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. So I think one of the most subtle thing as a group we can do is to go into the streets. Okay. Not in an enclosement like this where there are airlights. No. We are less needed here. Go to the ghettos. Okay. Educate them on the ways they can follow to get recovery. Okay.
All right.
So I think that is.
So that is it. Ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together for the first round of the conversation. I'm leaving my seat for Coke, but I think I'll perch next to Julie and Kwesi on the other side so I can still contribute to the program. Put your hands together for Coke as it takes over.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, I think we have more men than the women, and I think it's cool looking at the topic we are, discussing. I'm very sorry that I came in late. I had it's no fault of mine, but at least I have to say sorry because I had to be here quite earlier. But there's so much in town. Right, I was listening to the conversation and it's really, really interesting, and I hope that everybody is taking notes because maybe you might not need it today, but someone very close to you might need it tomorrow. Yes, thank you so much for coming through. And we are moving to the trending issues on substance abuse. I'm pretty sure that we've seen so many things on social media when it comes to substance abuse, like the trending stuff. If you've joined our conversation on Twitter, now called X, you realize that we talk about edibles, we talk about how they package things online, we talk about how, people take pictures of even, quote unquote, weed, and they look really nice. They have pretty names for that. They call it purple haze. They have, cheese, something cheese. And you're wondering, like, something that is supposed to destroy your life. And you have this nice name for it. And you're just like, oh, people don't even know what it is because they've seen it, because they've seen people or their friends talk about it or their friends use it and see how beautiful, like, the pictures look and all of that. They decide to try. So now, Juliana Amankwa-Marfo. Yes, please, you have a microphone, right? Yeah. So your topic is on substance abuse. Yes, let's talk about the trending issues, what you know, what you need to, yeah. Right.
All right, thank you. When I was given the topic to treat on substance abuse, I asked myself, do our audience understand what substance use is? So first of all, let me touch on what substance abuse or use is. It's the harmful use of a psychoactive substance, which includes alcohol or illicit drug. That's what the WHO defines it. So in general, you wouldn't only say, if I take coke, then that is it. Alcohol is part, and then our medication. Someone would say, oh, if I take paracetamol, does that mean I'm also abusing it? When your doctor hasn't asked you to take paracetamol, and you pick it, you take it, maybe for a day, you've been experiencing a previous time condition you had. Maybe the doctors mentioned that you take 3 of the dosage of paracetamol, that's 1,000 milligram, for 3 morning, afternoon, evening. And so when you had another episode, then it prompted you. Of course, Ghanaians, we love self-medication. So you quickly go back again. So, maybe me, all right, I had these symptoms, and the doctor asked me to do that. Consistently, then you become hooked to it. Instead of you to seek medical or professional advice, then you hook on to whatever you think had been previously, or even a friend or a relative had asked you to take. So all these are part of the substance abuse. So when we come to the new trends, indeed, we know that information technology has taken us to another level. I believe most of our parents, those in the 80s, 90s, they were not so conversant with IT. Now, the youth of today, we can do much better on our phones than our parents. Sure. And so that is where the dark world has taken that opportunity to put these substances on. Sorry to use that word. I know you were smiling. So, I think the new trend is not only on weed. Nitrous oxide is now on the move. It was currently, I think last year, UK started having this scenario whereby people were being seen on the park laughing. Yes, that's the laughing gas. That's the nitrous oxide. That is the hitch now. Yeah. Not the weed. Yeah. Not the weed at all. And that is what we are facing now as a regulatory agency. And we are doing a lot of monitoring. As I speak with you now, there are most clubs that we've sanctioned. And if cares not, we are prosecuting them, actually. So we are on the move. Yes, we do night monitoring. We disguise ourselves with the police. Do. And so we go out, and then we'll fish out these. And I can purely say that we are really adapting a culture from the West. We are learning, copying.
Blindly is bad, yes.
Yes, we are copying blindly. Let me give you a gist as to what nitrous oxide is. It's an aesthetic, analgesic substance which dentists use, surgeons use, and in the food industry, it's also used to whip cream. When you're making ice cream, making cakes, it helps to harden, to freeze. Even those in the bubra, the beer, yes, industry, they use that as well. And if you are having a party and perhaps you don't have money to get refrigerators and all that, the nitrous gas serves as a freezing breeze for you, for your drinks. Yes. So then when you go for big funerals, you just have a canister, you will just attach it to your freezer and then pump. All your drinks will be frozen for you. Chilled enough to serve for the program at that particular time. And now see, people are now taking it. You actually, They are actually popping it into balloons. Yes. So it's the way they are doing. So when you go to nightclubs, they are selling it for about 1,000 Ghana. I mean,
What?
Oh, yeah.
Just to laugh.
Yeah.
yes. And to make your party, yes, interesting.
Just laughing, you're high.
Yeah, it comes with a high.
Yes, it comes with a high. Yes.
Yeah.
And so we laugh and we are happy. I mean, we can do whatever we want to do at the parties. Now, tell me, how many of us our parents know about this? And so, that is not only that. I'll just touch on that briefly. Now we go to the shisha. The shisha is the fruit-flavored tobacco product. Now, this is the mechanism it works. When you roast the shisha on top of, I'm sorry I didn't bring an, yes, I didn't bring it.
Hookah.
You know, I had a picture on I brought a presentation, but unfortunately because it's going to be a firm,
Yeah.
I can, yes. So it's in a glass form. And in the glass, you can pour water. The ideal mechanism for it is to pour water in it. But we have diverse. We've alternatively the users are now using alcohol, and then they push the weed in. Aside the shisha being put on the plate up, so that when it is roasted, you put a charcoal, you ignite, and then it starts to burn the shisha. So when the weed is in the alcohol mixed in the basin, I mean the chamber, you know, the signs in it is it will burn, cause the vapor, I mean the smoke. Thank you. Oh, brah, where are they? If I'm on a church, all right, so that's it. You know, so then the vapor then comes in the bottle. So then when you puff it, and you release it, the sweet scented smell of the shisha together mixed with the weed is another level. The shisha itself is, as I mentioned, is a tobacco product. And so it's embedded with that addictive substance known as nicotine. You're enjoying this. Afia Owusu keke, second-hand smoker. So you were the second-hand smoker.
We were worse than the smoker. Yes. That one is the worst.
Yes, the passive smoker. All right. So when they puff it, then that is the euphoria they get makes them jump. And so you continued with it, and then you become hooked. Oh, yeah. And scientifically, studies have proven that when you sit an hour smoking shisha, it's just equivalent to you smoking 100 to 200 sticks of cigarettes. Yes. Just an hour. So you can see how serious this is. And now our youth are using it anywhere, anyhow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Some people feel it makes them cool.
Thank you.
It makes them the cool kid because I smoke shisha.
Yes.
And it comes with a cost too. If you want them to add weed to it, they will just go like, if you want it stronger, let's say the normal one is 40 cedis. If you want it stronger, then they will charge you maybe 60 Ghana cedis.
Yes. No.
You'll be surprised to know that ladies are the people who are
Thank you, Prince.
buying it more.
So our survey is indicating that a lot of women or girls are the ones patronizing it the most.
Why
because
is that
it's-
so?
They feel it is girly.
It's a flex.
It's flex,
Yeah.
exactly. And it's more nicer than you taking a cigarette standing.
Yeah.
Then I was misinformed because I was thinking that most of them were saying the flavor is
It's also
like
another
there
factor.
is
No, you are
nothing.
not misinformed. It's also another factor. You know, women, we like smells, good smells.
They also think
Flavors.
it's a libido enhancer.
It is?
That's what they also think. That is what they think.
Smoking the shisha.
Yes, that you can ride, excuse my language, you can ride your guy very well. That's kind of thing.
Okay.
So
But-
those are the reasons why they take it. Yes, thank you for that.
Wow, I think I like that.